please.
Tracy Kennedy, a 28-year-old manicurist, claims her business neighbor, Bijan Gadanian, scammed her into moving out of her premises so he could move in. She says she was promised $3,000, but never received it.
Order, all rise. Yeah, this is case number 107 on the calendar in the matter of Kennedy versus Gadanian. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Have a seat, sir.
All right, well, this is an interesting story. Miss Kennedy, you had a beauty salon that was there prior to the defendant's business moving right next door. Is that right?
His business was actually there, but he just bought it. There was the first owner there when I moved in.
But he was not there when you moved in.
Right.
You have a beauty salon. He has a
paging and cellular service business.
Okay. And according to your complaint, you were in this salon for about 6 months when the defendant approached you and said that he was interested in expanding his space.
Right. I was in there for a year, and he had been in there about 6 months when he approached me.
Okay, so after a year he approached you and said...
he pulled me aside on the front porch and said, "Can we talk for a few minutes?" I said, "Sure." He said that he wanted to know how long I intended on being in my space.
And how long was your lease, Miss Kennedy?
I didn't have a lease. I was month to month. But I did plan on being there for quite some time.
How much was the rent on it?
$525 a month.
Okay. So the defendant approached you, according to your papers, and said, "I'm interested in expanding my business. Would you like to move?"
Right.
And you said what?
I said I had no intentions of leaving. Then he said I would be willing to compensate you to leave, move your business elsewhere. And I said, let me think about it for a little while, and I'll get back to you, but I really had no intentions at the time of leaving. I had only been there a year. So I said, let me think about it. 2 days later, I came back to him, and I said, yeah, I think I want to take up your offer. I think that instead of moving someplace else, I'm just going to, go to work for someone else. The market's really hard to find someone in my business right now, and, I would love to just work for someone else for a while. And I said, I need enough money to pay my bills.
What bills?
The loans that I had on the salon. I had one from the bank, and I borrowed a couple $1,000s from my husband's parents.
So how much did you ask him for?
$3,000 was the agreed amount.
And did he agree to giving you $3,000 if you would move?
Yes.
So he was really buying you out of your space, according to you.
Basically, right.
And what happened, according to your papers,
right,
which I read very carefully, was that eventually you were told that when he went to negotiate his lease with the landlord, he said to him, "I'll give you half of what she was paying in rent."
Right.
The landlord said, "Absolutely not."
Right. He then came next door to me and said the deal's not going to go through, but by then I had already given my girls notice and found another place.
How many employees did you have?
I had 2 girls at the time.
Okay. Ultimately, you did move into that space, sir. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And you didn't give her the $3,000?
There was no agreement about $3,000, Your Honor.
Well, I'd like to hear your version of what happened.
Okay, I'll be happy to. Actually, she's right. I approached her, we casually asked her what her plans are, and told her about my intentions to move. I need a larger place. And at that point, she says, "Well, I've been thinking of moving. My business is not doing well. And I'll give you an answer. I got to talk it over with my husband. I'll give you an answer." And then a couple days later, she approached me and said, "Yes, indeed, I've talked it over, and I've decided to move." And she asked me for compensation. I said, "Tracy, this is not, the right time to talk about anything at all. I don't even know."
No. Just a sec. Shh. Miss Kennedy. Shh.
I don't even know if I can reach an agreement with the landlord. So please let me talk to the landlord, see if I can reach any agreement with him. And then if there is anything to talk about with you, we'll talk about it.
That doesn't sound right to me, sir.
No, that's not what happened.
Just a second. That doesn't sound logical to me, sir. So what you're telling me is the amount of $3,000, that figure, never came up in your discussion with her.
She threw that number at me. I'm not denying it.
So it did come up in your discussion. And you asked her if she would like to relocate because you wanted to expand your business.
That's not in the context it came up to, Your Honor.
Well, you did, in fact, expand your business into her space.
That's correct, yes.
No, this is what we have so
Yes.
far. We have your discussion with her about your wanting to expand, her throwing out a figure, which you acknowledge that she threw out a figure of $3,000. Your statement, well, it's not a good time to talk about it now. I have to talk to the landlord first. Now, did you speak to the landlord?
Yes.
And what was that conversation with the landlord, sir?
At that point, I offered a total of close to not.
Not a total. I'm not interested in total. I'm interested in what you are telling me under oath that you offered the landlord for her store to rent.
I did not offer landlord a particular price for her space. I
Offered for total.
for total.
Okay.
My
We're going to
space.
get. I understand.
I'm sorry.
How much were you paying for your store alone, sir?
$550, $551.
For your store alone.
That's correct.
And what did you offer the landlord for both places?
$900.
So, in effect, you offered the landlord substantially less than what she was paying
That's correct, yes.
after she had given notice that she was leaving.
That's correct, yes.
So now you got the landlord by the throat.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Tracy Kennedy says she moved out of her manicurist salon because Bijan Gidanian promised her $3,000. She says he never paid her and the whole deal was a scam.
The landlord has a tenant that's given him notice. He's got somebody else ready to move in right away. And you were going to get a bargain because you were going to get 2 stores for $900. Was your store the same size as his?
Bigger.
Bigger. So you were going to get her store for $400. You were paying $550 for yours. So the landlord said to you at that point, forget it, right?
Your Honor.
At that, just a second. We understand each other, this gentleman.
I'm glad someone does.
We understand each other, so don't we? So
Yes,
the
Your Honor.
landlord said to you, forget it, at first. Then you moved out.
Right.
You moved out in June, correct?
Yes.
When did you move in?
July 1st.
And what rent did you pay?
About $950. Close to $1,000.
You're a
Let's
good
say $1,000.
businessman. No, not let's say
No, I-
$1,000. Sir, you're a businessman. You know exactly what you pay for rent in this business. So let's not say about the $950. Exactly what do you pay in rent?
Your Honor, the only reason I say about, because the rent itself is the rent, but there are some other triple nets and what have you that figures in that I'm not quite sure. That's what I'm saying about. That's why I say about $1,000. I'm sorry?
Rent.
The rent, the base rent is $950.
Rent!
$950, Your Honor.
So you still got the landlord for a couple of bucks, but he didn't give you the lease right away. Did you sign a lease with him?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. I had a year lease with him.
And you signed another lease for this second space
That's correct, Your Honor.
at a monthly rent of $950.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So the landlord lost out. So where's her money?
There was no money agreed upon, Your Honor, to begin with. She did not have to move. Honestly, I had no participation in her moving out.
no.
All I had with her was just a
God.
casual conversation for her, what are your plans? And she acted upon that. I
I want
had
to give him a copy of my book. Sir,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
I come from an old business family. My grandfather grandfather was in the appliance business years and years ago, and he's been long dead. I adored my grandfather. He liked to call himself a shrewd businessman. Some of the people that he dealt with sort of dubbed him with another name. So I'm aware of what you did. This story has a common sense approach to it. You wanted to expand. This lady was under the impression you were going to take over the same rent that she took over. Nobody would be hurt. She had evidently had enough of being an entrepreneur, enough of being in business by herself. She said, if I can just get out with these loans, I'll go and work for somebody else. And here comes the perfect opportunity for her to do that. And it's a perfect opportunity for you to more than double your space at a lot less rent. Because once she gives notice, the landlord is up a tree. So the only one that comes out ahead in this business is you. That's smart, but not fair to Miss Kennedy. All right, not difficult. Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff, who I believe in the amount of $3,000. That's all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.